I've got one other piece on enabling change, and that is my change model. I think the more systematically we look at change, the more effectively organization-wide we can be in terms of change. What we find, at least the way I look at it is, if I, as a leader, am trying to get you to change, basically what I'm trying to do is move from a present set of behaviors to a desired future set of behaviors. In a somewhat simplistic term, that's what we're trying to do as leaders, is move people's behaviors. Now, if you look at this mathematically, we have present behaviors minus future behaviors equals gap behaviors. Gap behaviors are the things that we're going to need in the future that we aren't doing right now. And that's where the leader's focus should be, on the gap behaviors. The first thing a leader needs to do is be clear in his or her own mind about gap behaviors. I've got to understand, okay, in 2 years, if we're successful with this change, this is what people are going to do that they don't do now. That's got to be clear. I've got to be able to communicate with you on that. The second thing I need to do is have a with discussion. Have you ever heard of either one of these? Which one have you heard of?
What's in it?
What's in it for me? That's pretty common. We use that quite a bit. With I made that one up. It's what's in it for the organization. Now, those two, if we were to talk about them, do you think those two are going to be very diverse, or are they going to have some commonalities to them? Probably some more commonalities than what you'd think. But we've got to be able to have, this is where that dialogue comes in place. We've got to talk about, why would the organization do this change? Top leaders do not make up, let's do it this way. They have some reason why they want to do it. Now, as we've seen with WorldCom and Tyco and some of those objectives were not really ethical. But in most cases, in lower levels, then this is something that makes sense to the organization, and we've got to understand whether or not it helps the employee or the person that needs to make it happen. If it's against that person, you're probably not going to get adoption. This is a dialogue that we as leaders probably need to think through and engage the people who are going to have to make it reality. This is a step that's often missed, ignored. And the third step is we've got to give the people we're asking to change an opportunity to change. We've got to give them, if it's a new skill, if it's something having to do with software, we've got to give them software training. I talked to an organization the other day, changed all their computer software, but didn't train their employees, and wondered why they had a problem. And that's awfully common in organizations. People are struggling with it. So you have an ethical responsibility, in my opinion, as an organizational leader, to make sure the organization has the opportunity to learn how to do that skill. You can ask me to do a lot of different things, but if it's something very different or something I don't know how to do, you've got to give me that opportunity. Then, again, a lot of these things are missed. As leaders try to implement change, they're missed. The fourth one is we have a responsibility to give the person that we're asking to change feedback on how well they're doing it. Sounds pretty obvious, doesn't it? Missed quite a bit. And finally, we need to have a reward system that is designed on the future. Now, see, too many of our reward systems are in place, but they are on the past. And that's ineffective. You are driving the past. So if you have a reward system, make sure they're focused on driving the future. So to me, this is kind of a systematic way of analyzing, creating a plan of action in terms of your change, creating a communication plan about your change. This right here can systematically help people be comprehensive about how they deal with change.